In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the most disrespectful defendants who have ever appeared in court. Disrespecting someone in authority is never a good idea, but these 5 defendants took things to a whole new level. Let's get started. This is Spencer Allen Boston. When the 20-year-old Boston stepped into the courtroom of Wilson County, he was prepared to face the repercussions of his marijuana possession charge. Instead of making a speech explaining his actions, he chose to express himself in a more powerful manner.
I was trying to think of how to get it in without getting caught, because I knew that it's marijuana, it has a smell to it.
This video of Boston went viral. You see Boston casually and confidently taking the joint out of his pocket and igniting it, followed by a long puff. The bailiff was completely shocked at this bold move, and before they could stop him, Boston had already finished toking up. Boston was arrested and charged with a second crime, simple possession. This wasn't the end of his legal woes, however. He was additionally found in contempt of court and will be spending 10 days in jail as punishment. Next, we have Webb, a 30-year-old man accused of attempting to run over Deputy Ryan Barkley and pretrial officer Josh Mason outside the Bourbon County Jail. He appeared in court to enter a plea of not guilty. District Judge Vanessa Dixon presided and recused herself from the case due to her pre-existing personal relationship with the parties involved. The decision was met with much animosity by the defendant, Mr. Webb, who proceeded to respond to the judge's verdict by spitting in her face. Webb expressed his displeasure at Judge Dixon announcing that she was finished with him. Consequently, the deputies had to remove Webb from the courtroom. It turns out that Webb has a cruel and dark past. In September 2012, Webb was handed down a sentence of 50 years in prison for the rape and murder of Bria Runowitz. And in May 2017, Webb was found guilty of the homicide of his former partner, Sabrina Vaughn. The incident had occurred in 2003, when Webb strangled the woman to death before burying her in a shallow grave located in Montgomery County. This crime went unpunished until 2010, when law enforcement officers stumbled upon her remains. This is Danta Wright. He is in court for the shooting and killing of the 18-year-old Jordan Klee during an attempted robbery. The 17-year-old Danta Wright, together with Jamarius Ellison and Delreno Gracie, were accused of attempting to rob Klee, who was found dead at the Pine Lake Village Cooperative in Ann Arbor. The 3 teenagers allegedly attempted to steal controlled substances, clothes, and shoes. Instead, Jordan Klee lost his life, according to court records. Tensions were high in the courtroom as the teen who confessed to murdering Ann Arbor's 18-year-old Jordan Klee sat with a smirk and what appeared to be barely contained laughter. His victim's family members bravely stepped up and read their impact statements in front of the court, expressing their pain and anguish at the loss of their relative. Afterward, the defendant, 17-year-old Danta Wright, addressed the court, saying,
"I'll be home soon, or I'll be Keon. I love my family."
The judge was not pleased with Wright's attitude, feeling that the sentencing agreement reached between the prosecutors and Wright did not go far enough.
Watching you sit there, smile and laugh and shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement.
After a brief break in the court proceedings, Wright's family asked that the case be settled without having to go to trial, expressing their desire to move forward. Wright's lawyer apologized on behalf of the teen, noting that he was dealing with emotional issues and that some people displayed fear by smiling. Wright was sentenced to 23 to 50 years in prison for Klee's murder. We're at the courtroom of Jackson County, Michigan, where Jacob Larson is questioned by Judge McBain. The video footage captures the tense exchange between McBain and Larson, who was in direct violation of a personal protection order issued against him. The woman seated at the table with Larson, whose identity was blurred from the camera, had been subject to ongoing Facebook messages from Larson.
I want her to tell me to leave her alone.
McBain's temper flared in response.
"You know what? I told you to leave her alone. And apparently that didn't get through loud and clear. So today, you're going to jail for 3 days."
The exchange between Larson and Judge McBain became increasingly tense, with Larson accusing the judge of having a close relationship with the woman, and McBain reprimanding the defendant for his bad attitude. The situation only grew worse when Larson refused to stay quiet, and Judge McBain increased the jail sentence in response.
45 days county jail.
Oh,
Okay. 93 days in the county jail. You want to go for a year? Try it right now.
Jared Schultz, the court officer seen in the video, attempts to take Larson into custody, but was met with resistance. Instead of complying, Larson tensed up and began to resist. During the struggle, Larson continued to vocalize his thoughts and keeps addressing the woman. McBain, without a second thought, shed his judge's robe and raced over to the two men. He fearlessly joined the fray by grabbing hold of Larson and forcefully pulling him to the ground. All the while, Larson was shouting profanities in protest as his body was pinned beneath McBain's weight. Later that year, Larson blatantly disregarded the protection order again by sending the woman 20 friend requests on Instagram. Larson has since been charged with aggravated stalking. Moving on to Darrell Brooks. On November 21, 2021, Darrell Brooks embarked on a rampage when he hopped into his SUV and drove it into a Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. He sped through the streets at speeds of over 30 miles an hour, a reckless act that resulted in the deaths of 6 people and left dozens more injured.
He plowed through 68 different people. He kept going until he got to the end, and there was no more bodies to hit. It was intentional.
After being apprehended and formally accused, Brooks decided to take on the task of representing himself in court. Judge Dorow warns him of the consequences and the risks involved.
So if you are allowed to represent yourself in this case, sir, you will not have attorneys assisting you. If I let them withdraw, they're gone from this case. Do you understand that?
I think I would probably be better served representing myself.
During the trial, Brooks exhibited a lack of respect. He was removed from the courtroom numerous times due to his disruptive behavior, including outbursts and talking over witnesses. At one point in the proceedings, he even had an outburst of laughter during a witness's testimony, revealing his true nature to all present.
He told Erica that he was gonna find her and he was gonna kill her.
As he stood at the defendant's table in the courtroom, Brooks was audibly disgruntled by the way the district attorney had pronounced the word defendant.
That had to be said. So it's the defendant.
Brooks was clearly angered after the ruling and locked eyes with the judge in a silent yet intense exchange.
All right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
On November 16, 2022, Brooks was again brought before Judge Dorow and given the most severe punishment available to the court. Judge Dorow sentenced Brooks to 6 consecutive life sentences without parole, 1 for each of the 6 deceased victims, as well as 762 years of initial confinement and 305 years of extended supervision for the 61 counts of hit and run. And that's it for today. We truly hope you enjoyed our video. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts with us in the comments. Be sure to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss any courthouse updates from this channel. We'll see you soon for an all-new case, so stay tuned until then.